and welcome back to Come Geek Some. If you are new to the channel, please like and subscribe for all future content. So something has popped up on Twitter with quite a lot of interest in regards to Lynn Hunt, LJMontello and a few people like her. This was actually posted yesterday on the Medium website, which is kind of funny because this article, it does kind of go towards, that they are on KV's side, but it's a very interesting read because it shows that LJMontello has a history of mental illness and that she also is medically certified as a schizophrenic. Right, with this one here, this video, we're not going to be bashing her, we're not going to do anything because reading this is all I'm going to do, and it's a very interesting read. And obviously with this this type, we need to be careful. She doesn't deserve any sympathy because of what she said and everything else in the past. But when someone who actively doesn't take their medication, certain things can happen. And I really do think that she should come off Twitter and every other platform and actually seek medical help. So, we're going to jump into the actual article, which the headline reads, "When Me Too Meets Mental Illness." And it's written by someone called Alicia Callahan. And it was posted yesterday. And this is what it says. "In the early days of anime's Me Too movement, Lynn Hunt emerged as one of the most prominent figures to speak out against voice actor VM by virtue of her tenacity. The former convention staffer reportedly experienced firsthand what anime's golden boy was like outside of his angelic on-camera persona. And she's not afraid to speak her mind. Her accounts of his alleged behind-the-scenes behaviour were anonymous at first. For months, she posted a tell-all on Twitter under the pseudonym LJMontello and the self-styled professional contrarian. Obscured specific details that would identify her. When VM sued his co-worker accusers, Monica Rial, Jamie Markey, she bravely decided to put her real name on her own accusations and testified in their defence via a sworn affidavit. Well, just with that part by there, I really do think that they shouldn't be using her affidavit, mostly because of what we've talked about at the beginning of this video, and with her being a medically certified schizophrenic, it can lead to a lot of dangerous things, and again, it could be lies or whatever, that sort of thing. Coming forward was not without cost. Internet trolls publicly disclosed her home address, a practice more commonly known as doxing. This information was posted on the infamous Kiwi Farms message board where their members coordinated their harassment. They mercilessly mocked her appearance and even questioned her gender. So with all of that, I've said it in the past, I am against all of that. If you got a problem with someone, take it up with them, that's it. What began as yet another campaign of intimidation meant to scare her into silence became something much more frightening, as her past was uncovered in bits and pieces scattered all across the web. The woman, lauded for her courage and convictions, had a history of mental illness and of making a multitude of Me Too claims. She had alleged incidents of abuse from her adolescence to the present day. So with that part there, obviously, Alicia does say she has made a multitude, that's gargantuan right by there, of Me Too claims, all of which they all got thrown out because, again, no one took her, whatever. For 3 decades, her accusations had been dismissed, diminished, or discounted. That all changed when she added her voice to the chorus of those speaking out against VM. In their ranks, she was not only believed, her words were placed front and centre in the TCPA motion the defendants used to dismiss the lawsuit. Had she finally found the justice that had escaped her all her life, or was she a sick woman that had been taken advantage of by lawyers? That's probably the main one right there, the one at the very end. Greg Doucet, all these people, they probably thought, yes, we got one here now, we can use everything. And they haven't looked into it. But again, speaking of that, it's like with Ty. Ty should have kind of looked into all of this, or his team should have as well, because he should have not allowed this affidavit to go forward straight away. So again, we've got her born name. She's foregone use of her given name for most of her life. Her mother, from whom she is estranged, was said to have been too lazy to think past the first page of popular baby names. Well, Jennifer, is J, so I'm pretty sure it's kind of a few pages in. She is estranged from her father as well and considers herself the black sheep of the family, and not without good cause. At 15, she was thrown away and spent her high school years living in group homes as a ward of the estate. How did such a bright, eloquent kid like her end up in foster care? Again, no one knows. We just know that supposedly a lot of stuff happened to her. The sad truth is that Lynn was diagnosed as bipolar, schizophrenic, and paranoid. Her mental illness put a strain on her family, and following her parents' divorce, she was given to the government by her mother. Unfortunately, she didn't get the help she needed. She was old enough to understand her rights and refused to be medicated. Everyone else was sick, but not her. So that's actually a very good line written by Alicia for this article. Because, again, if you've been diagnosed bipolar, schizophrenic, and paranoid, you do need to get the help. You need the help that is offered to you. And if some of it is medication, you need to take the medication. And obviously with her thing here, which is exactly true, we have seen her do this numerous times in the last 8 to 9 months. She's like, everyone else is sick, but not me. So again, that is the paranoia kicking in. And being schizophrenic, we cannot take her word. Because, well, what's going on? I'll tell you a little story. My father's best friend, God rest his soul, Uncle John we called him. He had a girlfriend and she was schizophrenic. And there's no word of a lie, she actually had 15 different personalities. And it's funny to look back on it, but at the time it was a little bit scary. Because me, my father and my mates, we went to Wembley and there was a football game going on, a big Champions final. And we stayed with my uncle. We were there and my mate, he was just sat by the door. And the girlfriend looked at him, said, "Oh, hello, what's your name?" And he was like, "Oh, hi, I'm so-and-so." And she's like, "Oh, great. She asked him that question 10 times in the space of a couple of minutes. Because it was a different personality each time. And with that sort of thing, you do need to be very, very careful. It's funny looking back on it now because of how it was, but at that time, when we found out that she was a schizophrenic, it can make you feel a little bit uneasy because you don't know what's going to happen. So we're going to carry on as well with all of this. So obviously, she does have a few things on here. I was fortunate in that I was old and precautious and thus read the laws that stated my right to refuse those drugs. I was literally the only one not heavily medicated at the group homes. According to the state assigned psychiatrists, I have some silly disorder that changes based on what school they earned their degree from. Again, that is literally having to go with someone. She's like, they don't know what they're on about. I know everything. Again, schizophrenic. She comes from a broken home in more ways than one. In the journal entry above, she alleged that her parents were drug addicts. In a deleted post, she alleged that her mother was horrifically abusive, and in tweets on her blog, she said her father was a drunk and all this kind of stuff, and he also held a gun to her, which is kind of weird. And again, according to Lynn, her mother currently resides with a younger sister, who was not given away. So, again, she says her accounts of everything began at age 2, so it's like, right, okay, when you're 2, you don't really know what's going on. At 3, her mother asked her to call 911 on her father during an instance of domestic abuse. It is a very long document, and we're going to leave it by there because, I will put the link below for the archive webpage. You can have a little read yourself, and just have a little read over because it is very, very interesting. And to see what has happened, and to see what she's supposedly gone through. And when you're schizophrenic, it's very easy to make up things because, again, you believe they're real. I'm going to read a little line from the very end of this article, which is very important. And to be honest with you, I do not believe it because, again, no one knows what's going on. And this is what it reads. It is important to reiterate that Lynn Hunt is not a liar. She is convinced that she was all of this because in her mind she was. Some of her stories have elements of truth in them, though her untreated mental illness makes it difficult to separate fact from fiction and for her to be believed. Or it used to. She has a voice now and will not be silenced for better or worse. This article was published to bring awareness to a matter of public concern, which is very true, because, again, we've seen everything that she's done, and she just seems to be the type of person now, if something happens, she'll jump on it, she'll say it happened to her, and it'll just keep going on and on. So I think one of the best things to do is that she does need to get help. If you are new to the channel, please like and subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I'll see all you lovely people soon.